very much for joining us. You are most welcome to Majority Caucus, and it is live on your multi-TV. Tonight, we will be looking at the politics of mischief. That is the caption for tonight's discussion, or the title, if you like. And believe me, it's a pregnant title that would give birth to many, discussions by the time we end the show. And so what we will do quickly is not to waste time, but sorry for starting a bit late, technical hitches, as you know. Tonight, I have been joined in the studio. Okay, let me go for a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll introduce my guests. Welcome back to the show. This is my name is Ali Dawood, your host for tonight's discussion. Like I did say earlier, we will be looking at the politics of mischief as being championed by the MPP, both in courts, in the media, and other places. But before we do that, let me introduce my guest tonight. I have a very, very important guest. This is not his first time, but he's now in a different capacity. I'm talking about Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed, who is Honorable Member of Parliament for Nanton constituency. Also, can I describe you as a caretaker of national employment? Also a member of government communication team. Join in tonight is all the way from the northern region of Ghana. I have Rabiu Mohammed, who is a student activist in UDS, and also a member of the NDC communication team in the northern region. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time here.
Thank you.
Yeah, Comrade Murtala, let me start with you. Before we delve into these issues of court hearing and objections and all that, there has been some appointment made. What are your impressions?
Well, I first and foremost, let me say good evening to your viewers, and especially the people of Nanton constituency.
I'm sure they are watching.
Yes, and the NDC fraternity. I think that for me it was a good appointment, even though there were several people who raised concerns about the appointments that were done. Some claim that they were not frontline party people. So and a bit of it which I listened to some senior comrades, which I was not so pleasant, because clearly they raised questions about not being balanced ethnic wise, and I thought it was just misleading, because if you look at the four people who were, the chief of is either from Volta region, you have Dr. Sule Garba, who is, you have Dr. Raymond Atubuga from Upper East, and the other one from Upper West region. And I think that people must understand, when it comes to the three northern regions, it seems to me that we talk of 10 regions in Ghana, but when it comes to
they make them all one,
sharing a booty of
country, if because you promise your foot soldiers that you would win the elections at all costs, and at the end of the day you do not win the elections, and so you will take the country to ransom, I think it is unfortunate. So it is significant that we prevail on the MPP. You see, James and Davis in their book entitled The Asian and the African World have stated clearly that to build a true nation, people must develop the sense of belonging together. After all, if Nana Addo had become president in the unlikely event, Nana Addo would have ruled the people of Ghana. He was not going to rule the people of the MPP only.
Indeed.
So in this circumstance, they should be doing, they should be doing things in such a manner that people will understand that they have the good people of Ghana at heart, but not just for their own selfish interests. In fact, it is highly excruciating, and I think that the MPP could have done better. If you go to their press statement, the last but one paragraph of the press statement, it is stated there clearly that this case is either going to make or break Ghana. And what is the meaning of that antithesis? That this case is either going to make or break Ghana. If I am giving my own rendition to it, in the question. Does that mean that if the NPP doesn't win the case, it's going to break Ghana? Does that mean that if the NDC goes on to win the case, it's going to break Ghana?
I see.
To the extent that people are not surprised that when the results were declared, journalists were beaten, brutalized here and there. It tells
on this show,
you know,
let me put it on record that we aired some of the videos that we had.
So unfortunate.
I mean,
When
car
political
vandalized,
pundits,
the driver had to run,
you see,
to save his life and all that.
when political pundits tell them that they are doing themselves a great deal of damage, especially in the 2016 elections, they don't understand. And we wouldn't hide it from them.
I'll come to you, so you tell me the implication against the MPP 2016. But Mutala, do you smell a rat? Is there some sense of mischief in this? Oh, we want the public to know. That's why we are holding the press conference. It's not out of anything. We are not caught in public affection. We just want them to know. I wonder, because the journalists do follow proceedings at court. So
Well,
does it take press conference?
yes, first and foremost, I think that we need to understand where the MPP is coming from. And it is important for the people of this country to understand the psyche of the Buza Dankwa tradition, which the MPP is created from. They cannot insulate themselves from the Buza Dankwa tradition. They cannot insulate themselves from the UP, the Progress Party, or even the NLC, the first military junta to have truncated democratic process of this country. They can't insulate themselves. And I have indicated time and again that the MPP sees Ghana as their bona fide property. It's like a child who is at his concrete operational stage in development, and that is how they are behaving. They think that everything good, they deserve it. They think that Ghana belongs to them. It is a fluke to have a group of persons ruling this nation. No elections in this country have they contested in and lost without attributing it to either rigging or something else. Let's forget of what happened in 1951, 52, 54, 56. Let's forget of those elections and just come to the fourth Republican Constitution. In 1992, when they lost the election, they wrote the stolen verdict and boycotted the parliamentary elections. Because in 1992, we had the presidential before the parliamentary. They boycotted it. In 1992. In 1996, when they lost, they were shouting on top of the roof how the elections were rigged. In 2000, when they won, the elections were not rigged. In 2004, when they won, in a bizarre circumstance, the elections were not rigged. The NDC indeed went to court. In 2008, even when they were in power and lost the elections, they said the elections were rigged. So clearly that is how they behave. And the people of this country must understand. Again, the actors in this whole issue of demonstrations and vandalism, causing public disorder, trying to create or to cause mayhem and anarchy in this country, was championed by their chairman. People must understand where he is coming from. I don't want to be personal, but historical facts must be stated bare.
Absolutely.
His father was prosecuted and convicted for terrorism. And that is one thing the people...
You mean Jake?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is one thing the people of this country must understand. And he himself has demonstrated repeatedly that his survival as an individual political hinges on violence. The NPP set the agenda long before the 2012 elections. And I will make references to statements that were palpably made by leading members of the party, including their flag bearer. You had a chairman of the party who made statements attributing to what happened in Ivory Coast. It was absolutely ethnic divisive. You had Cabo, who said that if the MPP doesn't win the elections, Afghanistan, Ghana will turn to Afghanistan. You have my good friend Samia Oku, who said any declared results without the MPP being the victor, that elections results will be deemed what? Rigged. You had their flag bearer himself, who said that we must win these elections at all costs. Grammarians should tell me I'm not an English student. At all costs. He didn't say through every legal means. No. He said at all costs, including all die, be die. And again, you have the running mate of the NPP. You see, many people were hinging on the reckless statement that was made by Honorable Kennedy Ajapon. Sometimes I find it uncomfortable to address him by that title. And that is why I have said that if I had my way, I would prefer to be addressed as comrade, because it is not fashionable to be identified as an honorable member when you have certain individuals whose actions and inactions are absolutely dishonorable. Now, you had the running mate of the NPP who said that a vote for the NPP was a vote for Islam because he was a Muslim.
Yeah.
And I thought that was more divisive than even the statement Mr. Kennedy, Honorable Kennedy Japan made when he said that they should hit guns and everything with metal to justify it. Again, now you realize the agenda was being said as to what would be the outcome of the elections. Now, if you have a case, you sent the case to court, and I was shocked that Nanado, a reputable lawyer as we are made to believe, that you have a case, you send the case to court, and you indeed preempted any ruling of the case in court by holding a press conference. And in that press conference, they paraded concocted lies to form facts to convince the people of this country. But you know what? Just last point. What was intriguing?
No, when I come back, you continue. Okay. So do not worry. Viewers, I'll take my quick commercial break. Stay with me. I will be right back. Hello, welcome back to the show. If you just tuned in, this is Majority Caucus Live 2013 on your multi-TV. Discussion ongoing so far, presidential appointment, the first one. And we're also looking at the MPP's behavior regarding their rates at the Supreme Court and all the objections they raise in today's procedures. Mutala, you were making a point about the attitude of the MPP.
Yeah, so clearly they set the agenda, and the agenda was that we must win the elections.
Yeah.
And that is why I said that they are behaving like a child who is at his concrete operational stage of development. Such a child thinks that everything that is good belongs to him. If you are wearing a shirt that is similar to that of the mother, it belongs to the mother. And they see it like it's our property, and then you have borrowed it, bring it. Until they realize that they can no longer take the people for this country for granted, I believe that they will remain in opposition for such a long time. Let us also get something very clear. Now, if you have a case and you are going to court, and you are coming out with evidences, claiming, I realize the same Mr. Jacob Obiche-Bilamte, just I think on Sunday or on Monday or Tuesday when he had his press conference, he alleged and stated categorically that if you look at the elections, the biometric verification machines had problems on Friday, and on Saturday miraculously,
they were clean.
I tell him that is absolutely not true.
I don't know how he came
in
by
my
that conclusion.
In fact, we had problems with the verification machines on Saturday than on Friday. In fact, on Saturday, a place called Zogu, at a point the verification machine completely broke down. It took them several hours, in fact about 2 hours, before they could get another verification machine. I think that they lost the elections, and they must admit they have the right to go to court. But one thing people must understand, they have opened the Pandora box for people to comment on the issue. Because what we are commenting on, ideally, we are not commenting on the content of the case. Now today, we are all witnesses to what happened in court. Just yesterday, you had a member of the MPP parliament in the person of Mr. or Honorable Titus Glover. Now, who said that they were not comfortable with the inclusion of Justice Atuguba in the judges who will be sitting on the case. The simple question that I want people to ask, how did he know that Justice Atuguba was going to be part of the judges?
I have been wanting to ask that question. It means he had a prior information.
And again, the argument is so flimsy. Just for today, I listened to Madame Gloria Kufu on Joy, claiming that they haven't mentioned in the judge's name, and that she spoke with Titus, and Titus too. It's not about what he told you. It's about what he said, and which the tapes are available. Indeed. But I want to ask a simple question. If relationship with judges who sit on cases means bias, then the Chief Justice should not be the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana.
Never.
The Chief Justice is the in-law of Nana Atachian, lawyer Honorable Atachian. And Honorable Atachian in 2008 made statement which was recorded, in which he admitted it was his voice. How the Chief Justice, reservedly, in fact, let me use that, was implicated in manipulations of the empaneling of judges. He admitted. He admitted the voice was his. Now, if indeed that is the case, one would argue that I'm not a lawyer, you guys are lawyers. One would argue, but it's a simple logic, that Honorable Atacha is an interested party in this. I say it's an interested party because the party chairman, the flag bearer, and the running mate are in court challenging the declared results which made His Excellency John Dramani Mahama the president of Ghana, and indicating that if they win, they should declare Nana Addo as what? As president. And the moment Nana Addo is declared as president, by extension, Honorable Atacha would be a beneficiary of that.
Indeed.
Yeah. So he's an interested party. Now if you're going by that logic,
he's the attorney general in the making.
We know relations leading members of MPP have with members of the judiciary, particularly judges in this country. Must we begin raising questions about judges assuming that Honorable Atugba, what term do you guys use? Excuses himself. Recuses himself. Assuming he recuses himself. And then they impanel other judges. And then other people will come out and say, okay, this judge is a nephew or cousin to this particular MPP person, and therefore we don't want him. In any case, Honorable Dr. Atubuga is not the one who is being sued.
Indeed.
Let's get it very clear.
Okay.
So I can say that by law, he's not an interested party in the case. But they are doing that because he's been appointed. Now, if the argument is that because he's been appointed by this government, by His Excellency President Mahama, he didn't appoint him to work for him as an individual. He appointed him to work for the government of Ghana and the people of this country. Now, if the logic is that, because he's been appointed by the president and therefore working for government of Ghana, then Atachia, who is a member of the NPP, and who will be a direct beneficiary of the outcome in the event of Nana Addo, and the unlikely event of Nana Addo being declared as the president, then it's the same logic. That is what my level-handed logic tells me in Lagos. Let's get something very clear. They must respect the judiciary. Now, in one breath, they turn around and claim that the NDC doesn't believe in democracy. NDC doesn't respect the judiciary. NDC would make statement. You have a member of parliament of the MPP in the person of Esla Owusu, who said on the very day they held their press conference that in the event of the Supreme Court not ruling in their favor, all die, be die. So clearly,
that is a dangerous statement.
Absolutely dangerous.
For a member of parliament
and you know, I'm not surprised when I listened to my good friend Tatus Glover. It was the same person who said, I guess, on Asempa and said that the NDC was persecuting Nana Konadu because she was an Asante. These are reckless and guided statements that must not be tolerated by the people of this country. That is not the kind of democracy we want to have. We want to have a democracy that is embodied with some civility. And I think that we need to respect the people of this country. If you have a case, now I listened to the MPP. Now the argument has changed. Initially they said that because we believe in democracy, that is why we are going to court. The people of this country must be reminded. They didn't just go to court, they went to the streets.
Indeed, brutalized.
They said initially
NDC
the battle was the Lord. And from the battle being Lord, it moved to the battle was the streets. In fact, specifically Brasport.
Yes.
And from the battle being the street, when people criticize them, they then went to court. And even going to court, they said if they don't win, all die be die. So they must not deceive the people of this country. And again, they don't believe in democracy. What they do, what the MPP does is what I describe as cartoon scenario reality. Okay. They create the impression to people that we are the believers of democracy. We respect the rule of law. Now, when an opportunity comes for you to demonstrate to the entire global community that you believe in a democracy, you believe in rule of law, you are taking a different position.
Yeah, I'll come to you. So that I needed you to cease fire whilst pay attention to Rabiu. Rabiu, do we have faith that what the MPP preaches is indeed what it does in terms of we having confidence in the court, and now we are raising all sort of, in my opinion, infantile preliminary objections, if you like. Is that a view you share?
Axiomatically, I must say no. Because the MPP preaches one thing, on the other hand, they do the obverse of what they are preaching. That is why I have said that if Ghanaians had known earlier, right from the word go, we have said a lot about the MPP. We have said that these people will always behave well when it suits them. It is very clear to the Ghanaian people, especially students of political science and people who have had the interest in interrogating the political history of this country, would have come to the realization that the MPP has ever accepted only the results of 3 elections as far as the electoral history of this country is concerned. And that was the 1969 elections. They accepted the results without objection.
Because they won?
Because they won. 2000 elections, they accepted without objections because they won. And 2004 elections, they accepted the results without objections because they won.
Any other is problematic.
But go back to history and check through all the other elections that had been held that the MPP had not won. And they would have raised objections to that. I was very happy when my brother Mohammed Mutala mentioned that these are people who think that the country is their bona fide property. Apart from them, no other person has the temerity to venture into ruling the people of Ghana. And that is absolutely ridiculous. Ghana had never been created in the name of the MPP. Ghana had been created in the name of Ghanaians. And so if you are going into an election, then all you bring on board, apart from free senior high school education as a campaign promise, the rest were all die be die, winning the elections at all costs. Nordness would have been, what do you call it, cattle rearers if they had not attended school. Wayome, to the extent that Bawumia went to the IEA debate and embarrassed us. Let me make a very quick point on that. When he was asked a question on the depreciation of the cedi, you know what he said? He mentioned excess liquidity. And I thought that was a good point, listening to him as a student of economics. And you know the expatiation he went further to give to excess liquidity, that for instance, if you take 51 million Ghana cedis to pay a single individual as judgment debt, what do you think will happen to your cedi, your exchange rate? And I think that was shallow in depth of intellectual discourse as far as the subject on discussion was concerned. So if you have people who go into election with these issues, you should expect that at the end of the day they are going to lose. Look at the presidential results. Then you compare that to the parliamentary results. There were 3 regions in this country that Akufo-Addo did not win in a single constituency.
That shows how unpopular the MPP is.
That shows how unpopular the MPP is. And they go about telling their supporters. Let's make this thing very clear, so that people are outside listening will get the point. That they have gone to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to declare Nana Addo president. That is why they go about telling the people, especially the non-literate population, for the purpose of the development of Ghana and those who are interested in politics. The Supreme Court does not have the prerogative, does not have the constitutional prerogative to declare anybody president. Perhaps
I would want you to emphasize that when I come back from this quick commercial break. Stay with me. I will be right here. Hello and welcome back to the show. Obviously, the studio is heated up. I have 2 firepowers in the house. I have Mutala Ibrahim Mohammed, the MP for Nanton constituency and caretaker of the youth employment program. And also in the house we have Mr. Rabiu Mohammed, who is a youth activist and a member of the NDC communication team in the Northern region. Before we continue, I have a very important text here from Ferguson. Let me just share it with you regarding issues of apparent bias or issues that could give rise to bias in court. He said Sophia Akufu, one of the female judges who was part of the judges today, is a sister to Nana Akufo-Addo. Let me take that again. Sophia Akufu, one of the female judges who was part of the judges today, is a sister of Nana Addo and not Gloria Akufu, Sophia Akufu. So, like I said, the linkages are there in their numbers. So when it comes to issues of relations giving rise to apparent bias, I'm sure it will be a matter for the lawyers to handle. Yeah, you were making a point about the Supreme Court not having the power to make any such declaration.
Whatsoever does not have the constitutional prerogative to declare Nana Addo winner. And that is what the supporters of the MPP must understand. That these our leaders have done us more great harm than good. That they have not been telling us the truth. And even if you look at, I am not a lawyer, but it baffles me. If you look at the petition that they've taken to the Supreme Court, that one, they are praying that the Supreme Court invalidates the declaration or the results that were declared by the Electoral Commission. Then second, they pray that the Supreme Court, per the so-called evidence that they have, should overturn the verdict so that Nana Addo will be made president. We have squashed that one. The Supreme Court cannot make Nana Addo president. One. Okay. Two.
Before you continue, let me announce the phone line. The phone lines are now activated. You could join in the discussion in the studio on 0302 211-70124, 0302 211-70124.
So you clearly will not be able to tell what these people really want. Assuming the first prayer is something to go by, the Supreme Court should invalidate the results. If the Supreme Court so deems it fit to invalidate that results, then it means the second prayer becomes a hoax. Because which results is going to be overturned to the extent that that will lead to Nana Addo becoming what?
Let me perform this exercise quickly. I have Adam on the line. Hello, Adam.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Most welcome.
Actually, I start quite enjoying your program, and I want to advise you guys to keep it up, to keep educating us. What I want you to realize is that despite all this brouhaha going on, but what the average Ghanaian wants is at the end of the day, how food will be brought is stable. So in as much as you are trying to educate us on the court matters, but we pleading with you guys to actually hit the ground running. Because people down here, things are not going on well.
Indeed.
So thank you very much.
You are most welcome. But this is a view I share. I think it's about time we discuss developmental issues and...
Yeah, but let me just quickly, I just want to clarify something my brother said on the issue of...
How about you allow me to take this quick call and then I come to you. Adam, hello? Hello, Adam.
Hello?
Yeah, Adam, you're on air.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Adam. I can hear you. You're on air.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Supreme Court cannot overturn the case. Then why is the NDC filing a case to
that is not what he said. Adam, that is not what he said. He said the Supreme Court...
He said the court cannot the president.
Yes, the Supreme Court does not have the power to make such declaration. It's only the EC.
He said it doesn't have the prerogative. So I'm asking the impact of the NDC joining the chief when the Supreme Court have no prerogative to overturn the result.
No, it is to challenge the legality surrounding the declaration of the result, not to pronounce anybody a winner.
They overvoting, no voting without verification.
Yes, the Supreme Court can nullify certain polling stations' results and recommend to the EC for re-election to be conducted. Yeah.
No, but
yeah, quickly.
Very quick one. You know, my
in 2 minutes. I have just 4 minutes left.
Yeah. You see, what the MPP is seeking, they are not. They have identified, I think, over 1,000 polling stations. And mind you, these polling stations are NDC strongholds. And the argument is that remove because, in their opinion, they were rigging or fraud. You know, they've changed their distance again, and that claims. People voted without verification. And therefore, Electoral Commission must remove the votes that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama got there, remove the votes Nana Addo got there, and that is how they arrived at Nana Addo being declared as a winner. And you know one interesting thing, those places are NDC strongholds. So if, let's say, John Dramani Mahama got about 1,000 votes here, and Nana Addo got 20 votes, and got 2,000, and Nana Addo got 100 votes. Remove the 1,000, remove that of Nana Addo, which invariably wouldn't have an impact on the total votes that Nana Addo got. But you know one interesting thing, I am flabbergasted. These are lawyers who claim to be lawyers of repute. Now the law itself says that you cannot disenfranchise anybody who duly registered to vote.
Yeah.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if you remove it and throw it away, aren't you disenfranchising those people who voted there?
Yeah,
That's one. And again, if the law says no verification, verification doesn't mean you must automatically use the verification machine. The Electoral Commission, some few days before the elections, indicated that even if you are coming to vote, the moment people can identify you with your picture, that is enough verification. Now, what was discussed at IPAC on the issue of no verification, no vote in the machine, this was a decision that all the political parties agreed upon.
Okay.
I think that they need to do themselves a lot of good than what they are doing. But I know one interesting thing.
Tell me.
Let us not be surprised. It's good for young people like us to read the political history of this country. These people, when even Nkrumah was overthrown, when the CPP government was, the democratically elected government was truncated, they dragged the mother of Nkrumah, who was over 80 years. Just quick one. They dragged Nkrumah's mother, very old mother, demanding. She appeared before several commissions and committees that the woman should say Nkrumah was not her biological son, and that Nkrumah was a Liberian. So that is their psyche.
Okay, quickly, review the final word.
You see, it pains me that we do not have much time.
Indeed, but we would have another shot at this.
Deliberate on this issue.
And make sure we exhaust
one dangerous trend that is going through in this brouhaha is that any foreign persons that try to talk about how free and fair the election had been, the MPP jump and pounce on the person. Look at what they have subjected Yayi Boni to very recently. And have you remembered the case that led to the due FSM issue?
Ah, yes.
When they at the time hailed the African Union as a mother of all unions in the African continent and as a union that could contribute significantly to the development of the current democratic dispensation. And so it was contradictory if the African Union had taken a position and the then, may he rest in perfect peace, the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Professor John Evans Atta Mills, was taking a stance that was inconsistent with the African Union's position. Today, what is the African Union's position? They have subjected the name of and person of Yayi Boni to all kinds of what? Ridicule. Let me make this very brief point before we go.
In 5 seconds.
5 seconds. When General Asedun Ketia said, when the people had problems with mathematics, they should not visit it on the Ghanaian people. They were shouting here and there, insulting the man.
Yes.
Take their recent press conference, and they have given numbers, integers, even numbers, that I want all Ghanaians to remember the following numbers: 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 1, 2, 7. And they have come.
This looks like lotto numbers.
Lotto numbers. It doesn't make sense. And so I am promising you that very soon I'll be launching a book. And the title of the book will be "Chasing the Elephant Deep into the Bush." Politics of mathematical deficiency. That is going to be the title of the book.
I have had many indications that we would want to have you guys perhaps somewhere next week if you could make time, and then we'll exhaust this discussion properly.
No,
I don't know if...
yes, that's all right. No, just one second. One second. I mean, it's a historical, historical information. I mean, that I think that...
Quickly.
Historical fact.
Quickly.
My brother made mention of how the MPP think their psyche.
Yes.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They think that at any point in time, for them, they understand everything. Nkrumah describes the Buze Danko tradition. That listen quickly, that they are people with narrow intellectual and political horizons, but they always see themselves as the leading stars. Nkrumah, and you know why? They have always worked against the continent of Africa. Buzia voted against black South Africans, voted for apartheid,
indeed,
against the position of OAU. So this is not the first time.
It's obvious the discussion will never end. Obviously, we don't have much time, unfortunately, how time flies when you are having a good time. But I do not want to make a promise, but I can guarantee that somewhere next week or in the coming days, I would have Mutala and Rabiu to do another episode of this wonderful discussion that we just had. I'm sure you enjoyed yourself. Make a date with me on Thursday. Be good. Bye-bye.